This video will teach you everything you need to know to make your own custom hoodie, from cutting the fabric to sewing it together, plus a few extra tips that you won't find anywhere else. And by the end of this video, you should have a hoodie that looks like this, or this. Wait, that's the one I'm making today. You ready? You've probably seen reworked hoodies like these on TikTok or Instagram before, and let me guess, you want to make one yourself. I've made tutorials before, but today, nothing is getting left on the cutting room floor. I'm going to show you every little thing that goes into sewing a custom hoodie in more detail than ever before. I've broken it down into 5 easy steps, and nobody ever talks about how to do step 5, but before we get there, I want to quickly talk about the 3 different types of custom hoodies that you can make. There's underlay hoodies, overlay hoodies, and combination hoodies. I've made a whole video about this, but really quick, an underlay hoodie is where you sew the graphic underneath, an overlay hoodie is where you sew the graphic on top, and a combination hoodie is where you combine 2 or more hoodies together. I'm going to be making an overlay hoodie today because it's the most beginner friendly, but all of the secrets that I'm going to share apply to all 3 types. So you might be asking yourself, what's this hoodie going to look like? Well, that's step 1. The first step is planning out your hoodie. Today I have this blank navy blue hoodie and this red fabric. My buddy saw this Spider-Man hoodie on TikTok and wanted me to recreate it, so that's what I'm gonna make today. If you already have an idea for what you wanna make, great. If not, go on TikTok, Instagram, or Pinterest and search up reworked hoodie. You'll find tons of great inspiration there. So now that we know what we're gonna make, we need to get ready to actually make it. As far as materials go, you'll need the hoodie, extra fabric, fabric scissors, chalk, pins, thread, and a sewing machine. And once we have our idea, plus all of these items, we're ready to start bringing this hoodie to life. Next step is tracing our design onto the fabric. For this, you're going to want to grab your chalk and extra fabric. From here, you just draw on your design on the extra fabric, and because it's chalk, you can go back and erase things and redo things if you're not quite happy. I'm splitting up my Spider-Man logo into the spider body and then the spider legs because it'll make it a little bit easier to cut it out. Now I have the Spider-Man logo completed in different sections, and I'm ready to move on to the next step. Step 3 is cutting out our fabric. Take your scissors or fabric cutter and cut along the lines that you just traced out. If you need to add a seam allowance, keep this in mind, but because we're making an overlay hoodie, we don't need to worry about this. Once you're done this, you can take your pieces and place them onto your hoodie to get an idea of how they're going to look. And if you're happy with this, you're ready for the next step. Step 4 is pinning in the extra fabric. Grab your blank hoodie and the pieces that you just cut out and line up your design. It helps to pin key corners of your design and then go back to fill in the rest with pins to make sure the fabric stays aligned while you're sewing. Technically, you're supposed to pin perpendicular to the sewing direction, but I like it better when it's parallel. It's honestly just up to you. And once your graphic's all pinned in, you're ready for the next step. At this point, you're probably thinking to yourself, this is super easy. Now I hate to break your heart, but step 5 is where we bring out the sewing machine. I get so many people asking me how I set up a hoodie on the sewing machine so that I don't end up sewing both sides together. So cut the music, cut the fancy editing. Let's go over this so there's no confusion. I'm going to start by moving the waistband towards the sewing machine. I'm then going to slide the top side of the hoodie over the sewing platform while I'm holding the back side of the hoodie like this. This way, the waistband is almost circumferencing the sewing platform. And crucially, there's only one layer of fabric in between the presser foot and sewing platform. Once I have my presser foot positioned over top of my design, I can flip it down, take out any pins in the immediate way, and start sewing. I'm going to back tag on my ends to make sure the thread doesn't come out later, and follow around the edge of my design, staying reasonably close to the edge of the fabric. I also get a ton of people asking me how I sew designs on the sleeve without seam ripping the sleeve. We can simply maneuver the hoodie to access the sleeve. I know this sounds a little confusing, but bear with me. You're going to keep moving the hoodie until you reach the shoulder. Make sure you only have one layer between the presser foot and the sewing platform. Now you're gonna start pulling fabric out and creating a mini crater around the sleeve. Trust me, if you try it yourself, you'll understand what I'm saying. It's a bit of work, but once you've done this, you'll have access to your sleeve. And your hoodie should look something like this. I'm gonna finish up sewing the Spider-Man logo onto my hoodie, and then I'll show you the final result. I'm done sewing my hoodie, but before I show you it, I want to say two quick things. First, if you have any questions at all, feel free to DM me. My Instagram is linked down in the description, or leave a comment on this video. I'll do my best to respond to all of them. Secondly, I made another video about more tips and tricks for every single type of custom hoodie you could possibly want to make, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But first, let me show you the hoodie that I just made.